Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling something you've probably heard a lot about, VPNs, or virtual private networks. We're going to break down exactly how they work, how they create this private little lane for you on the huge information superhighway. All right, let's get right into it.
So, think about this. Every single time you go online, doesn't matter if it's on your laptop or your phone, your data gets sent out across the public internet. It's kind of like a massive open highway, right? Your information is just zipping along with everybody else's.
But, just like a real highway, that openness means that, well, people can see what you're doing. They can see where you're going, what you're carrying, and that can leave your personal info pretty vulnerable. The good news is there's a really powerful tool designed to protect it.
And yep, you guessed it. That solution is the virtual private network. So, what is it really? Let's dig into the mechanics of how it builds this super secure passage just for you.
Okay, so at its heart, a VPN basically extends a private network right over the top of the public internet. That's why it's virtual, right? Your computer isn't physically plugged into some private server room. But with a VPN, it acts like it is. It creates this safe, direct path for all your data.
The single most important idea to get your head around here, the main analogy for how this all works, is the tunnel. Just picture the public internet as this big, wide-open space, and a VPN builds a solid, enclosed tunnel right through the middle of it just for you.
And this image, wow, it just illustrates that idea perfectly. Inside that tunnel, your data is completely shielded from everything else. All the normal internet traffic is happening all around it, but your stuff gets its own private secure lane. It's basically invisible to anyone looking from the outside.
So the big question is, how is this tunnel actually built? I mean, it's not magic, right? It's a really clever combination of two key technologies, encapsulation and encryption. So let's break both of those down.
Okay, first up, we have encapsulation. What a VPN does is it uses something called a tunneling protocol. And this protocol takes your data packets, the little bundles your information is broken into and it travels online, and it wraps them up inside a brand new packet.
This diagram is a great way to picture it. Think of your original data packet, the one with your real destination address, being put inside a new, secure envelope. That outer envelope is addressed only to the VPN server, so nobody else on the internet can see the final destination. All they see is that you're talking to a VPN.
All right, so encapsulation hides where your data is going. That's cool. But what about the data itself? I mean, just putting a letter in a new envelope isn't going to help if someone can just rip it open and read it, right? The walls of our tunnel, they've got to be unbreakable.
And that is where encryption comes in. Encryption is the magic that scrambles all your data into a completely unreadable code. We call it ciphertext. This is what makes the walls of the tunnel secure. So even if someone did manage to grab one of your data packets, all they'd see is complete and utter gibberish.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. See, VPNs are smart. They use two different kinds of encryption working together. First, they use something called asymmetric encryption. It's a bit slower, but it's super secure. Think of it like a digital lockbox used just one time to safely exchange a secret key. Then, once that key is shared, they switch over to the much faster symmetric encryption for all the actual data. It's really the best of both worlds.
So modern VPNs use a whole cocktail of these powerful encryption algorithms. You've probably seen AES mentioned, right? That's the Advanced Encryption Standard, and it's basically the gold standard. Governments trust it. But there are newer ones like ChaCha20 that are getting super popular because they're crazy fast and efficient, which is perfect for mobile devices.
Okay, so we've covered the how. We get the tunnel, we get the encryption. But let's talk about the why. Why should you care? How is this technology actually useful in our everyday lives? Because this isn't just some abstract techie thing. It has real, practical uses. Well, it really boils down to three huge benefits. First, a VPN can help you bypass filters or censorship, letting you access content that might be blocked where you are. Second, it lets you securely connect to private networks. Think about connecting to your office network when you're working from a coffee shop. And third, and this is a big one, it protects your identity by hiding your real IP address from the websites you visit. A question I hear all the time is, wait, isn't this just a proxy server? And that's a fair question. They seem similar. But there is one absolutely critical difference, and you can see it right here. A proxy can hide your IP address, sure, but it usually doesn't encrypt your traffic. A VPN does both. It hides your IP
and encrypts everything, creating that secure tunnel we've been talking about. That makes it a way more powerful tool for security. All right, but we've got to talk about something else. Not all VPN tunnels are built the same. They're based on different underlying technologies, which we call protocols. And believe me, the protocol you use can make a huge difference in your experience.
There are a bunch of options out there, but these three are the biggest players you'll see. You've got OpenVPN, which has been the reliable workhorse for years, super secure, super flexible. Then there's IPsec, another solid standard, great for connecting entire offices. And then you have WireGuard. It's the new kid on the block, and it's getting a ton of buzz because it's just so simple and incredibly fast.
And wow, this chart right here just perfectly illustrates how much performance can change. What you're seeing is the max speed, the throughput, for each protocol. And just look at that difference. OpenVPN is solid and secure, no doubt. But modern protocols like WireGuard and IPsec can be 3, even 4 times faster. That is a massive deal if you're doing any kind of streaming or downloading big files. So at the end of the day, the big takeaway is this. It doesn't matter if you're just one person browsing in a cafe or you're part of a huge company with people working all over the world. The basic idea is exactly the same. A VPN creates a secure, private tunnel that encrypts your data. It protects you from cyber threats and makes sure your information gets where it's going and only where it's going safely.
And that kind of brings us to a final thought to leave you with. As more and more of our lives move online, our jobs, how we talk to each other, our entertainment, everything, all the data we're creating becomes more valuable and way more vulnerable. So it really makes you think, right? Is having a private tunnel for all that data still just a luxury, or is it quickly becoming a flat-out necessity for modern life?